of comedy and fun Saturday at 7.
This is Channel 7 Eyewitness News with Tim Fleischer and Victoria Corderi. Bill Evans with the exclusive AccuWeather forecast and the Eyewitness News team. Now, Eyewitness News.
Good afternoon, I'm Victoria Corderi. An armored car heist gone bad, and an innocent man is now dead after a wild shootout in Brooklyn. Lucy Yang is on the scene, and she joins us live now with more information on this breaking story. Lucy.
Victoria, a fatal attempt at robbery this morning leaves one man dead, at least two others injured. It happened in the FLATBUSH section of Brooklyn on the 1900 block of Church Avenue. 9:40 this morning, three guards from an armored truck tried to deliver money to Lefka's check cashing establishment. As they were trying to drop off the money, they were held up by 6 armed men. Shots rang out. Here are the details from police.
Yes. Okay, at about 9:40 this morning, CDC security system came to 1908 Church Avenue, check cashing place, deliver $101,000. At that time, one of the drivers or one of the guards alighted from the vehicle to make sure the scene was safe. When he thought it was safe, he signaled to the second guard in the truck who alighted with $101,000. As he started to walk toward the check cashing place, there was a male black who was in 1906 Church Avenue, a laundromat, who opened fire on the two guards.
Police tell us there were 5 other suspects waiting across the street. They then joined in on the gunfire, so there were 6 suspects altogether. Shots rang out between the guards and the suspects. Police believe the suspects may have been using 9mm semi-automatic weapons. We're told one innocent bystander was shot and killed at the scene, a 55-year-old male city transit worker who was on duty and trying to cash a check at the time. A livery driver was also shot. He was treated and released at the scene. We're told one of the suspects may have also been shot. Police believe he was dragged into the getaway car by the other suspects, which then sped away north on St. Paul's Place. None of the money was taken, but a life was lost in today's brazen holdup here in Brooklyn. We're live in Flatbush. I'm Lucy Yang for Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Arson is suspected in a devastating fire at a Bayshore car dealership early this morning. 8 fire departments battled the flames at the Raymond Buick and Chevy dealership on Sunrise Highway. 1 firefighter was injured, and the highway was even shut down for several hours. The cause of that fire is under investigation at this hour. And another early morning fire, this in a power substation in CLOSTER. The fire knocked out power to 11,000 Bergen County residents. It was sparked by an underground cable that malfunctioned. The fire extinguished itself in about an hour. The electricity was back on at 6 o'clock this morning.
A possible candy tampering on Long Island today, and there's nothing sweet about it. A 14-year-old Freeport girl became ill after eating a Snickers candy bar that was in an Easter basket gift from a relative. Doctors who treated the girl say she ate a caustic substance. The candy was purchased at a Caldor store in Freeport, and Nassau County Police are investigating.
Well, today you might be wondering, where in the world was the Post? For more on this new round of Post problems, let's go to Doug Johnson, who is live for us at their headquarters in Lower Manhattan. Doug.
Tim, this is the New York Post you would have seen today if you've been able to buy it, but unfortunately there was not a full run of the paper because the Pressmen's Union says they don't want to work under circumstances with a specific number of men per press that the union deems to be inappropriate. Only a few papers had rolled off the presses, a sort of early test run when the labor problems developed. Consequently, the rest of the papers weren't printed or delivered today. This is only the second time in over 150 years that the paper is not published. The last time was during the stormy reign of Abe Hirschfeld. When Rupert Murdoch took over, it was assumed that the paper's problems would be over for a while. The pressmen say that Murdoch wants to run the presses with fewer men than is called for in the contract. They say the manning crunch came to a head last evening.
The problem is that for the first time since I've been around, and I worked at the Post for 13 years, the management has unilaterally refused to honor the manning commitments that they made in the collective bargaining agreement and instructed my men last night to run short and not to call in the amount of people that the contract requires. When we refused to do that, they called me and told me they were sending all the men home.
So there you hear what the union says. They say that they were told to run the presses with less men than usual, and then that the men were sent home by the newspaper. Now, the Post has issued no statements today, so they've not confirmed that that's actually what took place, but certainly something is wrong. The paper did not publish today. Kennedy told me he's talked to lawyers for the Post, and he is hopeful that this will get ironed out, and he says he's not certain, but he can't believe that the paper will not be published tomorrow because with its financial circumstances, the paper couldn't stand the losses for 2 days in a row. So it appears this is going to get worked out, but we don't know how or when, and so far the Post has had nothing to say. We're live at the New York Post. Doug Johnson, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
So Walkler has told Jessica Silverman he's sorry for the trouble he's caused her. The former New York chief judge sent a letter of apology to the 15-year-old daughter of his ex-lover, Joy Silverman. In it, he says he cannot forgive himself, so he cannot hope for her forgiveness for harassing both mother and daughter after Silverman broke off their love affair. Walkler writes, "I know how much you dislike me for what I've done," and he makes his plea, "but I would be grateful to you for accepting this heartfelt apology." There was a potential landmark ruling in the case of a sperm donor. A New York judge denied parental rights to the donor's biological daughter. He had donated the sperm so a lesbian couple could have a child. The judge ruled against the donor, citing the man had signed an agreement giving up his parental rights. Courts usually allow sperm donors some form of parental rights. That ruling will be appealed. We'll hear from the lesbian couple and their daughter on Eyewitness News at 5. Tim.
Police still trying to solve a royal mystery in the deaths of an Indian prince and his wife. And now they are focusing on 2 men last seen in the couple's Park Avenue apartment building. David Navarro reports.
The investigation into the bizarre deaths of a Park Avenue prince and his wife inside this posh East Side building is now looking more and more like a double homicide, and is centered on 2 people who came to see Shatresh Teddy Kedkar and his wife Nineshka last Friday night. They were the last people the doorman saw go up to the apartment before the couple was found dead Monday morning by a maid.
They are not suspects. They are witnesses that we would like to speak to.
No one gets into this upscale building without being announced, and that is exactly what happened last Friday night when 2 well-dressed men came to visit the Indian prince and his wife. One, who called himself Frank, is believed to be an antique dealer and has been there before.
They let them in, they went up the elevator, and an hour later they left carrying 2 brown satchels.
No one can say yet what was in those brown bags, but police say several small items were stolen from the apartment. Items that on Saturday a 3rd man tried to sell to a pawn shop. When the couple were found inside their locked apartment, some speculated the deaths were the result of a jealous wife who committed suicide after killing a much younger husband with a reputation as a playboy.
He was really a wonderful person, lots of fun. As I said, loved to dance, and a real charmer.
Cable TV host and nightclub singer Rachel Kane, known as Screaming Rachel, was seen with the prince and was reported to be the possible straw that broke the camel's back. A flashy headline that never explained how the 72-year-old wife might have killed her bigger and stronger 57-year-old husband. Also, it's a scenario police seem to want to discourage. But despite this new information, police say they are still not ruling out any possibility. Reporting from the 13th Precinct, David Navarro, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Final results from the medical examiner's autopsy, which could help reveal if the couple was murdered or not, are not expected until next week.
The bloody standoff at an Ohio prison may get a lot more television exposure today. The inmates in control of the facility were supposed to broadcast live on a local television station this morning, but so far, nothing's taken place. Yesterday was a day of mixed success in negotiations to end the 6-day standoff. Authorities gave in to one demand, but in doing so, saved a life. The inmates got their first opportunity to air their demands and opinions yesterday with a local radio address.
We are oppressed people. We have come together as one. We are brothers.
The inmate, known only as George, gave a rambling 15-minute speech last night demanding the water and electricity be turned on again, the replacement of the warden, and a change in prison conditions.
We either negotiate this to our likings or they will kill us. We are prepared to die.
Prison officials gave in to the demand for airtime after the body of one of the 8 corrections officers taken hostage on Sunday was recovered from the prison yard. Though prison officials will not say how he died, the inmate radio address appeared to take responsibility for a murder.
This situation is very volatile, unpredictable, and that violence is a possibility at any time.
After the broadcast, the inmates freed 23-year-old Darrell Clark, a prison guard. He is in good condition. They also demanded airtime on a local television station. Meanwhile, the families of the hostages go to the prison looking for information and comfort. Now, officials are concerned about the precedent set by giving in to prisoners' demands about how this may be interpreted at other prisons.
A waiting game in Ohio and in Los Angeles as well.
Up next on Eyewitness News, the city waits for a verdict in the Rodney King civil rights trial. We'll get the latest live from Los Angeles.
Plus, President Clinton meets with the Japanese Prime Minister, but it's another meeting on the president's agenda that is being called historic.
Well, I regret it that it's happening.
Whatever reasons you had for not getting cable TV, starting now, you just ran out of them. Because cable TV offers installation for just $9.95, plus Showtime, HBO, the Movie Channel, and Cinemax. Get big savings when you order cable and premium TV. Showtime has spectacular blockbuster movies, Basic Instinct, Hook, exclusive engagements. HBO has huge box office hits, Lethal Weapon 3, Batman Returns, big names and special events. Watch the Movie Channel for non-stop entertainment action, Bugsy, and Cape Fear. Cinemax has sensational movies around the clock, Patriot Games, Stephen King's Sleepwalkers. Call now toll-free and get even more. Get cable TV with 24-hour news, sports, kids shows, music videos. You'll have all the reasons for having the time of your life. Call 1-800-OK-CABLE and get installation for only $9.95 when you order cable and premium TV. Call 1-800-OK-CABLE now.
A truly tender experience comes along so very rarely. Fortunately, such tenderness awaits you in every Bounty bar, where a sea of the most luxurious chocolate embraces coconut so moist and tender it could only come from paradise. Bounty, the taste of paradise.
Try a little tenderness.
They had homes and they had businesses and they had wives and children when they disappeared without one trace.
So did you think he was dead?
I was scared.
But when they were suddenly discovered, the truth came out.
I asked him why he left me. He said, this is just something I had to do.
I don't understand how he cannot have any concern for us at all. You didn't think about that?
Really never entered my mind.
Real life disappearing acts on the next Oprah. Today at 4, right here on Channel 7.
While waiting for a verdict in the Rodney King civil rights trial, there is on this day 7 no indication that a verdict is near. But the city of Los Angeles is bracing for a reaction to a verdict. Jim Dolan is in Los Angeles for us now with more on preparations. Jim.
Yeah, Tim, the jury just began deliberations for the morning. They are in their 33rd hour of deliberations now. That is longer than the Simi Valley jury took to acquit these same police officers. And those who make the mistake of trying to guess what a jury is going to do seem to think that the longer the jury deliberates, the better it is for the defense. The rest of us are willing to wait. All sides remain busy trying to work at keeping the peace. A meeting of now heavily armed Korean business owners and the National Guard arrived at some consensus last night. The Guard is worried the business owners will become vigilantes if their stores are attacked.
They should not have to use those arms, that law enforcement should protect citizens. No citizen should have to own a gun to protect himself. That's what law enforcement does. And I told them that I believe, based on the meetings I have been in with Sheriff Block and Chief Williams, that law enforcement is more than adequately prepared to do that.
And the police, too, continue their massive deployment here, along with efforts to let the community know that the response to rioting this year will be stronger.
We've been telling the community that we're now much more prepared, and we do have response teams out there. And right now we're on maximum deployment for day shift and swing shift, so they know that there is going to be a different response this time.
The community's been very supportive of us. Everybody's pretty positive that things are going to go well, and we're prepared to deal with this.
And the police say most people want a more firm response. They want the police to take back the streets.
It's not anti-police as everyone thinks. You know, obviously there's a select few, a select group who want to make the issues bigger than what they are. But people are supportive of their police. They know we're supportive of them.
So we're waiting for the jury to continue its deliberations and to come up with a verdict. We're live in Los Angeles. Jim Dolan, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
There is some give and take in Washington, where the White House says President Clinton will go the extra mile to get his jobs bill through the Senate. The president reportedly will offer a new bill cutting several $billion from his $16 billion proposal and adding $200 million for hiring new police officers. The president says he is challenging Senate Republicans to do their part to break the gridlock on Capitol Hill. The economy held center stage a short time ago as the president held his first meeting with Japan's Prime Minister Miyazawa. High on the agenda, the widening trade deficit with Japan. The administration wants to reduce that deficit by convincing Japan to lower barriers to key American products such as cars and computers. And the president will also hold a meeting today with gay and lesbian groups. That's for this afternoon. The groups view the meeting as historic, and they say they'll invite the president to a rally on Sunday. He, though, is not expected to attend.
Well, you might want to trade in Bill Evans' forecast.
Up next on Eyewitness News, a flood watch in our area. We'll have the exclusive AccuWeather forecast.
I was at Big R's Food Warehouse when I saw this new grease-releasing Tide. I figured it was worth a try. I had this really tough hamburger stain on my new blouse. There was grease all over. My friend Jan felt terrible.
When it comes to tough grease like this hamburger stain, nothing beats the power of new Tide with grease releasers at a great price at Big R's Food Warehouse.
The grease was gone. I told Jan this new Tide got it out. That didn't surprise her, but the great price did.
New Tide with grease releasers at Big R's Food Warehouse.
When there's something to celebrate, Radio City is the one place to be. So come on in for the Radio City Easter Show. We've got a lineup of music and magic that'll put some spring in your step and a song in your heart. So bring the whole family to see the world-famous Rockettes on the world's greatest stage. The Radio City Easter Show, New York Springtime Spectacular. Call 307-7171.
More than you know, I love you so. Lately I find you're on my mind, more than you know.
When this is the way you feel about a pound cake, it could only be Entenmann's.
Washington apples. They're as good as you've heard.
See this little guy?
Oh my gosh!
A 2-year-old geography genius. And this bigger kid?
I'm the Stumpkin.
The Alphabet Man.
Encyclopedia. ACCDEEILNOPY.
How about this big guy?
He had that long mustache.
The Jeopardy record holder.
102,597.
Well, this is Steve Hartman from Eyewitness News, taking his friends to the streets of Manhattan. Watch Life Around Here with Steve Hartman, the special, Saturday at 7, right here on Channel 7.
Some nasty weather on the horizon.
Yes, in southern Pennsylvania, they have had as much as 2.5 inches of rain in just an hour.
So far this morning.
Yes, and there's been some flooding problems there. A couple of tornadoes have been sighted there in Virginia, and that weather is moving our way. First off, there is a severe warning out for the area, a flood watch. Severe thunderstorm watch is in effect for the western, extreme western portions of New Jersey and eastern Pennsylvania. We are under a flood watch right now. That severe thunderstorm area is probably going to be moved to our area in a couple of hours. But northern New Jersey, southeastern New York, and Long Island under flood watch through the afternoon because heavy thunderstorms are moving our way. Right now, it is 61 degrees outside, humidity 78%. The barometer has been falling as the storm system is approaching. A cold front and a low-pressure storm system giving us southeast winds at 13, which have been gusting to 22 at times. These winds are going to get higher. They're still going to be out of the south-southeast, probably gusting up to 40 and 50 miles per hour as these thunderstorms are nearing the area. Let me show you how they look. Here, those are the radar pictures over the last 8 hours. Line of thunderstorms ahead of a cold front that has been working their way through Pennsylvania and the western portion of New York State. These thunderstorms have been heavy. Like I mentioned, they've been producing heavy downpours of rain across southeastern Pennsylvania, as much as 2.5 inches of rain in an hour in some counties of southern Pennsylvania. Numerous tornadoes have been sighted over northern Virginia and around Maryland. Now, those tornadoes have been moving northeastward in the flow of the system. The winds are moving up out of the south. The jet stream at all levels is capping on top of that, enhancing the thunderstorm development. So we're watching this area of rain carefully because it'll be entering northwestern New Jersey at about 1 o'clock, probably getting into the city about 3 o'clock, and could produce some gusty winds in excess of about 50 miles per hour. Satellite pictures over the last 24 hours will show just this. Big area of cloudiness from Canada all the way across the area, reaching southeastward all the way out over the Atlantic waters. The low center itself is right here over Michigan and is moving into Canada, but the cold front that is trailing with that has some pretty good cold air behind it, and it's bumping up against a lot of warm moisture that's been coming ahead of it from the Gulf of Mexico. Across the rest of the country, the expanse of that storm really takes up just about the whole eastern third of the nation. The big low system working its way across Chicago today, producing snow there, as well as at Milwaukee. There's been a couple of inches of snow there, and the snowstorm will just continue. The low pressure storm system producing various amounts of precipitation will keep doing that over the next 12-hour period. So here's the forecast map for this afternoon. Thunderstorms are possible probably starting around 1 o'clock in New Jersey, 3 o'clock in the city, 4 o'clock out Long Island. Probably going to be severe for a couple of hours. Gusty winds. There's possibly some hail could be contained in some of those thunderstorms. Tomorrow, however, the low pressure system will work its way out into Canada, and we'll see a sunny, cool day tomorrow, but there'll be enough instability around that it might squeeze out a scattered sprinkle in the afternoon or in the evening hours. Forecast for this afternoon, showers and thunderstorms. It'll be very windy. Be particularly careful making the commute home today. Not good weather. Tonight, thunderstorms will be ending early and clearing late tonight, and it'll be very windy tonight and tomorrow as well. We'll see some sunshine, and with that unstable air mass still hanging around, it might squeeze out a sprinkle on Saturday. But Sunday will be breezy, partly sunny, and cooler as well, with high around 58. Be careful this afternoon. If that thunderstorm watch area is moved over to the New York City area, we'll have that for you. Stay tuned. Sam will be here at 5 and 6 and 11 with all the weather developments for you.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
And when we continue with Eyewitness News, shrimp Spanish style.
Mr. Food's going to show us how to turn a favorite seafood into an ethnic delight that will make your mouth water.
Now from oceans all over the world, it's Red Lobster's world of lobster. Start with our new grilled lobster appetizer, then enjoy succulent rock lobster or Maine lobster tails, sweet and tender. 7 great new dinners at special prices you'll think the world of. Hurry in tonight, because this spectacular event ends soon. Red Lobster's world of lobster. And kids get shrimp, a complete meal, just $1.99.
More than you know, more than you know. I love you so. Lately I find you're on my mind more than you know.
When this is the way you feel about a pound cake, it could only be Anthony's.
Men. It's definitely time to give up on men as you take off in your Reebok Body Walk shoes. But then the dynamic cushioning system kicks in and air starts rushing back and forth between the heel chamber and the forefoot chamber. And your heart starts pumping and your head clears up, and suddenly the insensitive pig you argued with all night is starting to look a whole lot more like that sweet guy you remember marrying.
Is technology great or what?
They had homes and they had businesses and they had wives and children when they disappeared without one trace. So did you think he was dead?
I was scared.
But when they were suddenly discovered, the truth came out.
I asked him why he left me. He said, this is just something I had to do.
I don't understand how he cannot have any concern for us at all.
You didn't think about that.
Really never entered my mind.
Real life disappearing acts on the next soap. Today at 4, right here on Channel 7.
Shrimp is certainly a favorite all across America, whether it's shrimp cocktail or shrimp scampi. Everybody seems to love it. Well, now Mr. Food shows us how to make another shrimp dish with an ethnic flair.
Ethnic is the big popular rage taste in food right now. And one of the biggest of the ethnic's taste is Spanish. I mean, the restaurants are putting something Spanish on every menu. Well, we can capture some of that popular at home, and so easily, like this. In a large skillet, we heat 1/3 cup of olive oil, stir in 4 chopped cloves of garlic, a bay leaf, and a ½ teaspoon of pepper sauce. Very important. Now, when the garlic sizzles, we add a pound of raw, clean shrimp, stir it around about 3 minutes until the shrimp are pink, a little sprinkle of salt, and it's like dining on the Spanish coast. Wasn't that hard? And surprisingly, it can be even easier and less expensive, because first, we can use a bottled chopped garlic. And we don't have to use expensive shrimp. It'll work with whatever size shrimp is on sale, even broken shrimp, or use any white-fleshed fish fillets cut up into large shrimp size. That's what I do. And those pieces will cook up just as fast and just as juicy at a lot less of a price than shrimp. And with a crisp French bread or over rice to sop up that garlic sauce. Now, if you'd like the recipe, just send a self-addressed stamped envelope marked shrimp, Spanish style, to me, Mr. Food, right here at the station. And we'll get it back to you for being right up to the minute in a minute, whether it's the fancy price or the everyday price. Same exciting Spanish, same, oh, it's so good.
I was unprepared for that. Here are some of the stories we're working on for Eyewitness News at 5. For the second time this week, a child escapes a would-be kidnapper. This time it happened in Hewlett, Long Island. Plus, Americans traveling overseas soon will be flashing high-tech passports, but the new look serves an important purpose. We'll explain. Plus, a new medical breakthrough for checking leaking breast implants. It used to require surgery, but not anymore. Those stories and much more today on 5 at 5 on Eyewitness News. And finally, in Eugene, Oregon, it's a case of puppy love between a dog and a duck. Nanook is a 15-pound American Eskimo dog. Nanook found love is all it's quacked up to be when owner Sherry Evans brought home Howard the duck. Evans won the feathered creature in a contest, and the dog immediately took to it.
I had the duck in the house, and it was just following me around. And then Nanook came in and just laid down with the duck and just took it under its leg like it wanted to nurse the duck.
Now, this may sound like a sweet love story, but who knows if this strange love affair will last. You know what they say, birds of a feather flock together. Ay, ay, ay.
Nothing to quack about.
Forget it.
That'll do it for this edition of Eyewitness News. I'm Tim Fleischer.
And I'm Victoria Corderi. For Bill Evans and all of us here, have a great weekend.
Join us again for Eyewitness News at 5, 6, and 11 today. Have a good weekend. Take care.